Today we're going to take a nice stroll through the village of Russell Gardens, incorporated in 1931. You're right off Northern Boulevard, but there's other ways to get in off of South Middle Neck Road in Great Neck. I hate to repeat myself, but there's a varied type of construction and styles in this village. And we're coming upon the village hall. Here's some of the rules and regulations. This is the village hall. I happen to be a chair when it comes to the elections, whether it's midterms, local, national. This is where we have our elections. We have a lot of sycamore trees in this area, which are pretty sturdy trees. Hard to take them down. Here you have high ranches, splits, a few ranches here and there. I guess we'll walk up this way. And again, parts of this area are not too far from the railroad station. Here we're the farthest distance if you were going to walk there, but it's still nearby. See, it's a nice cool area because there's a great canopy of these sycamore trees that were planted probably 50 to 75 years ago. I think every village has tutors, which is what that one is there, and looks like they're fixing the gutters. There's a good construction company that I've done business with, Ted Emmerich. Been doing this for 50 years. And some houses still have the slate roofs, which I think that one does over there. But after a certain point, they have to get replaced, and people are putting in architectural type style roofs, which are usually lasting between 30 and 40 years, as long as you have an attic fan, because heat is what kills the roof, not the cold. So that's basically how they place. Here's a nice Mediterranean terracotta roof. You can see how varied the construction is. The houses are somewhat different. I'm going to make this a short video because I'm just trying to introduce you to each village, give you an idea of the architecture. And again, it's quiet here. You don't hear really too much noise except for passing cars and the chirping of the birds when they're out there chirping. I've lived in Great Neck pretty much all my life, probably going on 69 years. I had a little stint in Little Neck. I stayed there about 1.5 to 2 years. Then I moved back to Great Neck. And I found that it is one of the best towns anywhere to be able to bring your children up. Great schools. As I've mentioned on one of the other videos, it's rated #1 on Niche magazine as the top school in New York State. But we also have those 21 active and passive parks. Kings Point Park, which is, I believe, 75 acres. Hopefully they'll never develop it. And you have the premier Stepping Stone Park and Marina on the water, where we have our concerts, during the summer, on the weekends. In fact, I believe it's this Sunday. We have a band from, I think it's the 80s, called Depeche Mode. And we had Train last weekend, not last weekend, the weekend before, which was really good. He played the best version of Stairway to Heaven. No, I'm sorry, Hotel California. I closed my eyes, I thought it was the Eagles. So there's lots of things to do here, even during the pandemic. You know, we did have concerts, but we had them in Kings Point Park. We sat in our cars and then we took a chair outside and we watched the show there because the regular concerts were actually canceled at Stepping Stone Park. See, down there is Northern Boulevard. And across the way, which we'll be doing next, is a unincorporated area of Russell Gardens. So they don't have any village tax. This village, University Gardens, as I mentioned, is unincorporated. Russell Gardens is incorporated, so there is a village tax. So that's basically how you designate an area. Whenever it's incorporated, you're always going to have a village tax. But there are some areas out in Long Island and North Fork, I think it's Laurel, another area, don't have any school taxes because there are no schools in the area. So great place for second homes out in the North Fork. It's probably 10 or 15 degrees cooler here when it is hot because of this amazing canopy. These are actually called Scotch planes or sycamore trees. They kind of drop their leaves a bit in August. You can see some of these houses are real classic. That's really nice stucco house. I hear the birds chirping up ahead. Must be calling to its mate. Come, let's go party. I think that's what it's saying. But I really don't know. Here's a nice Tudor. It's pretty modern. Looks like a newer house over the last 10, 15 years. There's an old colonial. What I call classic colonial. There's a solid brick house with an architectural roof. All right, this is my continuation of my Russell Gardens stroll. That's a real pretty house. I think their pool is this way. So I think we'll take a stroll down this way because they have their own private complex, which is real nice. As long as we can see it. With all this vegetation, it may be a little bit challenging to take a look, but we'll see as we go along. UPS making their deliveries. Okay. Here it looks like the pool entrance. Oh, this is very nice. This was all rebuilt a couple of years ago. Look at that. It's like in the middle of a forest. Beautiful. It's a nice little sitting area. There's the pool. Very nice. I don't want to intrude upon these people, so we'll take it back up. It's a nice screening. Very nice. They go across the street. Looks like they just repaved some of the roads in this area. Everybody seems to have very nice landscapes. If you look at some of the intricate brickwork from the 1920s and 30s, they just don't do that today. So this is the general walk area. And the vegetation here is very mature. Let's see how nice the houses are kept. Very, very nice. It's a hydrangea. Black-eyed Susans. Yeah, this looks like a fairly new home. There's your Tudor style. Those embedded slats of wood. Oh, this is very nice. Fits right into the area. Looks like a modern Tudor. And there's your classic early 1900 Tudor. Well, I don't know if that would be a Tudor. Maybe it's just classic colonial with a little veranda. There's a solid house. Slate roof. Beautiful brick. Stones. That's a real classic house. Beautiful chimney. Beautiful stonework. See the stonework on that. Very nice. You got a good feel for this area. And a lot of these houses are duplicated in the other villages. You just have to decide if you were going to move to this area, what location, what village or unincorporated area that you might want to live in. The houses here are probably easy, $1.75 million up to $3 to $4 million, depending on the size of the home, whether it's new construction or a resale. I think it's 90% of the listings, the last time I checked, in Great Neck alone, were priced at $1 million and more. Some of them were below, but the majority of them were priced $1 million or more.